So my in-laws just called to let us know they're on their way over, and we're out of food. Great. Luckily, Instacart helps me get groceries delivered in as fast as an hour. Plenty of time to cook an in-law-worthy meal. Now, what to make? Chicken parm. Perfect. Download the Instacart app or visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first order using the code PREPARED22. Now the only thing to worry about is dinner conversation. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Delivery subject to availability. Additional terms apply.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey, Force Center friends. I'm Ken Knapsack.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw, and this is Force Center, a Star Wars podcast that celebrates the galaxy far, far away with a mix of deep dive analysis and comedy fun. We cover all the films, the TV shows, books, toys, and the big themes, everything from the profound lessons of hope versus fear to the absurd fun of Boba Fett's knee darts.
Myself, Joseph, and our third partner, Jennifer Landa, rely on our years of experience as writers, performers, and broadcasters to create a critical but positive Star Wars space that's like hanging out in the cantina, but with absolutely no limbs getting cut off.
It is a podcast Obi-Wan Kenobi would feel okay letting Anakin listen to without going to the dark side.
So, join us on the light side, friends. This is Force Center.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hey, wife.
Yes, husband.
Did you know that we are now on Patreon?
Yes, because you told me, but also, no, tell me more.
So we're on Patreon now.
Are we?
We are, and our supporters can go there and support us, and we have multiple levels all the way up to You Killed God.
That sounds really drastic and escalated quickly-ish.
Well, no, there's multiple levels before there. So it escalates on a sliding scale of, cheap to not cheap. Oh. But, we can definitely use any amount. So, any support is always appreciated.
So what exactly is Patreon?
It's a place where you can show your support for our podcast. And
just our podcast?
Any podcast or any performer. But, we're the ones that, you're listening to right now. So maybe you should, support us. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. But we love you anyway.
So all you got to do is go to Patreon, look up Sacrilegious Discourse. It's actually patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse is our actual main page there. So head on over and send us some love.
Yeah. Okay. First question.
Okay.
What the fuck is Mount of Corruption?
Right? That was weird.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, apparently we have heard it before. We just didn't pay much attention. So we're
guilty of that sometimes. Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. It's the name given to a part of the Mount of Olives.
Okay.
So named for the olive groves that once covered its slopes.
I see. Okay? Yeah.
But it was called the Mount of Corruption because it's where the idol temples were erected.
Okay.
In the time of Solomon. And there were temples to Ashtaroth and to the abominations, that's in quote,
got it,
of Moab and Ammon.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay.
The Mount Corruption is a mountain. Oh, sorry. I have a line. So sorry. I have a line here separating this because, okay, that was the Mount of Corruption Bible-y thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't read my own notes ahead fast enough. Okay, yeah. Listen to this.
I'm listening.
There is literally a mountain today called Mount Corruption.
In Israel?
Absolutely not.
No.
It is a mountain summit located in Custer County, Idaho.
Oh, of course the U.S. named a mountain
Mount Corruption.
after Mount a Bible.
I have no
thing.
idea if it was named after that.
It feels like it almost has to be, though,
Feels
right?
like it has to be. It's part of the Lost River Range, which is a subset of the Rocky Mountains.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just thought that was fun.
Yeah. So there you go. You can go visit Mount Corruption.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the Mount of Corruption. Okay?
Got it.
Got it. Okay. Next thing is, what was Egypt? Like, all of a sudden, it just came out of nowhere, it felt
Right?
like.
Yeah.
I mean, I was right. They had their own shit going on. Like,
Right.
they didn't just, like, put their lives on pause for the Bible over here.
Obviously.
Obviously.
I mean, yeah, like all of history did not happen in the Bible. That's not how that works.
Right, exactly. So, the Egyptian pharaoh Necho that we learn about,
Yeah.
he was the guy that came in all of a sudden when Egypt
Right.
was, like, suddenly a presence again.
Right.
He is actually, the pharaoh Necho, Neco,
Yeah.
is actually, for realsies, there was a pharaoh named Necho II, but Necho, so like it looks like
Okay.
Necho.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Necho II.
Right.
Okay, and his name means carrying out the desires of the heart.
Okay.
Whatever.
Right.
He was a member of the 26th dynasty who unsuccessfully attempted to aid Assyria against the Neo-Babylonians and later sponsored an expedition that circumnavigated Africa.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's actually really cool.
I think they said it took like 3 years for
Still,
it to get all
that's
the
a
way around.
very
That was
big
a huge
undertaking
feat.
for that time.
Yeah. He was also the guy who, remember at one point I told you that some canals were built like around the Nile, and that I think it was the Suez Canal was one that they had done early on.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That they are the ones that created it. That was under Necho. Necho did that.
Got it.
So yeah, he actually was the guy who commissioned the work that eventually became the Suez Canal.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
So, and I remember talking about that. I think it was one of our Asimov book club ones.
Okay. Yeah.
That blew my mind that there is this piece of work today that is part of our geography now.
Right.
That was started during those times, but to now know, oh, it was that guy.
Right.
Like, okay. So, here's the deal. Remember, it was like the Assyrians and the Babylonians and Moab, and they were all like at each other's throats and who does what and what does who and all that.
Sure.
Right? Okay, so the Assyrians were not going to hold out against the Babylonians without help from their allies. Okay, so the Assyrians are getting their asses beat, their asses handed to them by the Babylonians, and they're like, help, help.
Right.
So Egyptian reinforcements, led by Pharaoh Necho, marched toward the second Assyrian capital, Haran. To go help them.
Right.
Okay, they're like, we're on the way, hang on.
Sure.
But on the way, they passed close to the border of Judah,
And they're like, hey, while we're here.
where they were intercepted by King Josiah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is from the Bible, quote, Pharaoh Necho killed him at Megiddo as soon as he saw him. So remember?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 29.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, like, this is what was happening in Egypt. Like, they were going back and forth,
Right.
doing stuff. The same thing that basically the Israelites and Judeans were doing.
Right.
Which was trying to gain land or getting beat by the same group of people.
Right. Okay.
Which makes sense.
And this Judean king got in the way of the Egyptian and paid the price, basically.
Yeah. So when Josiah, king of Judah, and an ally of the Neo-Babylonians was slain...
So they were allied, the Babylonians and Josiah?
Just for that 1 minute.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just for a minute.
Sure.
Like, they were all allies at different times.
Convenient allies or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
The enemy of my enemy.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
So for that minute, Josiah, king of Judah, and an ally of the Neo-Babylonians was slain in battle at Megiddo, and that's when Necho replaced Josiah's chosen successor, which was Josiah's son Jehoahaz.
Yeah.
Jehoahaz.
Right.
With his own nominee, which was Jehoahaz's brother Eliakim.
Got it.
Okay, and then Necho changed Eliakim's name to Joachim to make it more in line with Egyptian namology.
Sure.
Okay. And he imposed tribute of silver and gold on Judah.
Got it.
Okay. So, like, we've heard part of this from the Bible perspective, and what I did was go in and
research the history of it
a little bit from the Egyptian perspective.
Yeah.
And the stories do match up. Like, these parts actually did happen.
It is history.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. They were, I mean, it's not a big surprise. Basically, it's like all these guys over there were fighting and trading hands and,
sure,
gaining land and getting their asses handed to each other.
And some of this shit ended up in the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Right.
So, there's that, okay?
Yeah.
Now, remember we had a question about the dates?
It is neat, though, that there is things that are lining up as actual history now.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of explains a little bit of why we're going through Kings the way we are.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just trying to lay out actual history that they know, as opposed to in the past they were laying out history that they didn't actually know.
Right.
So they had to make them stories.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't anything that they actually knew about. So
those were fables
stories.
And legends and stories.
Right.
And now we're getting into history as they know it.
Yeah. So we're just chronicling
mm-hmm.
the so to speak, the things that are going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that was that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
The next question we had was about those specific fucking dates.
Right? It's fucking weird.
It's not.
Well, it
basically,
was to me.
No. You're right. The way it was phrased in the Bible translation that we were reading was super fucking strange.
Okay.
So what I did was I read a couple of different translations to see, is it like...
Is it the same in the other translations?
It's not.
Oh.
Our translation is very user-friendly and puts it in a very readable format that we can understand.
I see.
We being you and me and the other dum-dums like us.
And I okay, so I can be down with that a little bit, but the fact that they covered, like earlier in the Bible, right, they
mm-hmm.
kind of describe portions of what the Hebrew times are, the months and dates and all that kind of stuff. Well, they didn't
explain them, they just used them in conversation.
Right, but why didn't
we did a Q&A that explained those.
That's fair. That's fair. But then why did they use those months in this translation versus using, modern translations?
I can't explain. The only thing that I could maybe think is that when they were mentioned earlier, those were still more in Storyland, whereas this is more in Historyland.
Okay.
And they're trying to make it easier for us to understand that
this is actual history.
Yeah, this is an actual date. Now, here's how it reads in another translation. I only copy one because it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
Instead of saying, like, the 10th of whatever month it was, the 10th of January or some shit.
Right.
This is how it says. Now, it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, on the 10th day of that month.
Okay.
That's how it actually reads.
Got it.
In that particular translation.
Okay. All right.
So
I'm not sure which. It was jarring, I guess, to hear.
It was very jarring
the months'
because
names.
It was anachronistic, and we did not expect that.
It brought me out of the story. Actually, like I was like, "Wait, what?"
Well, that's what anachronism does.
Yeah. No. No, I got you.
It was not the coolest way to go.
No, I don't think so either. I think I actually like that way better. Mm-hmm. For covering it than the way that it was done in the one we were reading.
Like the 9th... Wait, what was it? Yeah, the 9th year of his reign in the 10th month.
Right.
Whatever you fucking call that month.
It's very vague-ish, and it allows for the story to continue unimpeded.
Yes, I agree.
So I like that better, but okay, at least I understand why that happened.
Yeah, so that's the dates.
Okay, those are the dates.
Okay. Here's the next one, and it's a doozy.
Okay, yeah.
Where's the fucking ark?
Where is the fucking ark?
At least, not where is it today specifically.
I don't give a fuck where it is. It's not anywhere today that I'm aware of.
It would be cool if we knew where it was today or
it would
had
be
some.
Cool.
But our question was not where is it today. Our question specifically was as of our reading.
Deal with it.
Yeah, like when Judah got sacked, where the fuck did the ark go?
Yeah, because it sounded like they fucking tore apart, leveled,
right?
Killed everything.
Right, exactly. So there has been, apparently that was a good question that we had. There has been a ton of research. There are stories, there are legends.
Okay.
Particularly there are Jewish legends, which that goes to figure.
Yep.
And so I couldn't get into all of them. That was so much of a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I did copy down some various pieces from various researchers' notes.
Okay.
And I'm not going to attribute any of them. So I'm just not. I'm not, because there were just too many different little
nuggets.
Nuggets. There you go.
Yeah. So
whatever. Lots of research. Google it. It's easy to find.
Right.
I even went, like, Wikipedia had some shit. Encyclopedia Britannica always has some shit on it. Like,
wow.
Yeah. Like, actually, Encyclopedia Britannica has become a really good source of info.
I just haven't even thought about that as anything in the last 15, 20 years.
I don't specifically look it up or use it, but in researching Bible things, it comes up frequently as a source.
Well, I guess they're doing something right.
Yeah. And I appreciate it, because to me, that's a legit source, you know?
Sure.
So, yeah. Okay, so these came from all over the place is what I'm telling you, the notes that I have.
Okay,
so one researcher said this thing that I snagged from, like, one of his research things. Okay.
Yep.
With Solomon, the Ark story ends rather abruptly. Jewish tradition and most scholars presume that it remained in the temple for almost 400 years until the destruction of Jerusalem by the Babylonians in 586 BC.
Right.
Yet, it is not mentioned in the list of spoils the Babylonians took from the temple, as we pointed out.
True.
Perhaps this indicates that the Ark was taken from Jerusalem already in the late 10th century as part of the military campaign undertaken by Pharaoh Shishak during the reign of Solomon's son Rehoboam.
See, did they even cover that in the Bible?
Not that I recall.
Not that I recall either. I mean, maybe it was, but it might have been something brief that they just kind of glossed over.
I don't know. I think if they would have said blah, 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 Ark, we would have perked our little ears up and been
yeah. No, well, I mean, they didn't cover the Ark, but I mean, I don't remember the Egyptians coming in.
I don't remember that guy's name at all.
Right, yeah.
Pharaoh Shishak or whatever.
I kind of remember the name, but I don't remember, like, it might have been a brief, I don't know.
I remember Rehoboam.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that guy's name, because I don't remember having tried to say that and not said shit shack, which is what I know I would have said. So, I don't think so. Okay, here's another little note. According to the book of Maccabees, which I believe that is a book that is in the Catholic Bible,
sounds right, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
No, I think you're right.
So according to the book of Maccabees, the Ark was hidden in a cave on Mount Nebo by the prophet Jeremiah, which that's a book that we will be getting to here shortly.
Okay.
Who said that this place shall remain unknown until God gathers his people together again and shows his mercy. That's from 2 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 7. Okay? So
yeah.
We're not there yet, but...
But they did say they covered something about hiding the Ark, apparently. That's interesting.
Which I didn't know.
I wonder how that falls in chronologically, though. Like, where that falls in.
I think that the rest of the books, the rest of the books of the Bible that come to follow are kind of not just chronicles, but apparently the next few after that, like I think Ezra and forget who else. I think that those are all part of the rehashing of shit that we already have read.
Got it.
But from different perspectives and adding information.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong. I know Chronicles is for sure, but I think that the next couple books after that are also
still rehashes.
Various people adding to this story.
Got it.
So I could be wrong.
Okay.
But that's just kind of what I've sussed out from just the various, like, notes that I'm like, oop, don't want to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So another story tells of how the Ark was brought to Ethiopia and is now at the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Axum. Supposedly, only the guardian of the Ark is allowed to view this Ark, but a scholar named Edward Eulendorf saw the Ark during World War II and found that it was not the original Ark, of course.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
The military... Here's another
note. How do you know it's not... I guess he could have... I don't know.
He took measurements?
I don't know. Right? Like, what is it that you decide...
He did carbon dating. He aged...
In World War II?
I don't fucking know.
Doubt it.
Okay.
But maybe it would look too new or something. Like, there's probably something
I'm sure that there was, like, metallurgy work that he could have...
He's like, yeah, that couldn't even have been forged in the time that was supposed to be.
I mean, he would have had a lot of...
He knew something. Obviously, okay.
Yeah.
He debunked it, I guess. Whatever.
Sure,
okay.
sure. I mean, come on, what? It's just sitting over there in Ethiopia, huh?
Right?
Okay.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Although the Egyptians did come in first before the Babylonians took over and Nebuchadnezzar destroyed everything.
That's true.
So maybe the Egyptians did run off with it.
That's true.
That is a possibility.
That is a possibility. So who fucking knows?
Right.
Okay, here's another note. The military efficacy of the Ark in the Ark narrative, however, is initially called into question, as the Ark is captured by the Philistines and taken by them to the temple of the god Dagon in Ashdod.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. And so she's like, it was already over there, and I don't really get how that, like...
I guess it's not as powerful as, like, who knows, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
When the Ark was captured by the Philistines, outbreaks of tumors and disease afflicted them, forcing the Philistines to return the Ark to the Israelites. So some stories describe how death would come to anyone who touched the Ark or looked inside it.
I mean, that's what they want you to think, because that's what they portrayed earlier when they were talking about the Ark a lot more.
Yeah.
So
the Ark moved around frequently, according to the Bible, but eventually it was settled in ancient Israel. The Ark ended up permanently in Jerusalem, in the innermost chamber of the temple. The story of how it got there is found in 2 Samuel, blah, 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 and also in Psalms 132, which we haven't got to yet.
Okay.
One of the very few explicit mentions of the Ark outside of the Pentateuch and the historical books.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, let's see what else. Later, it is thought to have been placed in the Holy of Holies in the Temple of Solomon, founded around 957 BC. Okay. With Solomon, the Ark story ends rather abruptly, which,
No, it did.
Yeah. And Jewish tradition and most scholars presume that it remained in the temple for almost 400 years until the destruction of Jerusalem by the Babylonians in 586 BC.
I mean, that's kind of what I assumed.
Right. That's what we thought at the time. We were like, so I guess it's gone now.
Right.
So whatever we're reading now is bullshit.
Right.
Yet it is not mentioned in the list of spoils, blah, 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 blah. Perhaps this indicates that the Ark was... Oh, I already read that. Sorry. Was taken, blah, blah, blah. It's not known what happened. Oh, my God. I accidentally, copied this twice. Okay, sorry. Scrolling down.
Right.
Jeremiah... Hit it, Mount Nebo. Okay. Before the Israel... Okay, here we go. Okay. There's a story about Jeremiah in Maccabees that I kind of alluded to earlier.
Okay.
It's a late Jewish text, Maccabees is.
All right.
So I guess it's in the Jewish Bible, not the Catholic one, but I think
it is in the
I
Catholic
think it is
one
in the
as well.
Catholic one, yeah.
Right.
Which relates that the biblical prophet Jeremiah carried the Ark out of the Jewish temple just before the Babylonians seized Jerusalem and destroyed the temple in 587 BC. Jeremiah took it across the river Jordan into what is today the Kingdom of Jordan, hid it in a cave on Mount Nebo, the mountain from which Moses had gazed upon the Promised Land before the Israelite conquest of Canaan, and then he sealed up the entrance to the cave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there was this whole other... rabbit hole that I kind of skimmed, but I didn't take notes on it because it was so out there.
Yeah.
That apparently a bunch of followers came up and were trying to get into the cave, and Jeremiah scolded them and was like, "Fools, do you not know? And only the true believers, and it'll never happen until God is ready to forgive all of us, or what the fuck ever, blah blah blah."
Right, yeah.
And so they were turned away.
I gotcha. Okay.
There are also stories about how it is hidden near Jerusalem in the city of Mecca. There's even another story about how it's hidden in New Guinea. And the book of Revelation claims that the Ark will not be seen again until the end times.
I see.
So, if we find that it is uncovered in the next few years, we will know that we're done for, and expect nukes soon after. Or the zombie apocalypse, or the rise of the robots, or, collision with asteroid. Yeah, any of the above.
Right.
Okay, so that's that. Now I have one final note, and this is just a silly one.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with anything.
All right.
Okay, so I did not realize that V.C. Andrews had...
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so the series... Flowers in the Attic as I Knew It was Flowers in the Attic, Petals on the Wind, If There Be Thorns, Seeds of Yesterday, and then Garden of Shadows, which was written last but was a prequel to the series.
Okay. Yeah.
So I had those correct. Well, apparently.
There's more, huh?
There's more since her death. Remember I told you that her estate produced these, but I had never heard of them.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? I have to mention that tomorrow.
Were they just as clever of names?
They are called Beneath the Attic, Out of the Attic, and Shadows of Foxworth, because it was Foxworth Hall.
Got it. But they aren't as clever.
They're
they didn't,
not
like,
as clever.
Turn them into
They weren't flowery.
Right.
I mean, flowers, petals, thorns.
They are just riding on the fame of the previous thing.
Okay, here's the thing though. Okay, so there was a movie called Flowers in the Attic.
Yeah.
And it was actually done pretty well. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say I recommend it, but I wouldn't say I don't.
I've seen it. It's not horrible.
Right? It's not horrible, but it's like gross.
It's got Johnny Depp in it, so.
No, it doesn't.
Wait, it doesn't?
No.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
What am I thinking of?
What are you thinking of?
I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen it.
I don't think you've seen it, sir.
Okay. All right.
I think you are thinking of something else.
All right.
Okay. So, anyway, recently there was another make of it, and I think it was like a TV series.
Okay.
And from what I heard, it's trash. Now, I haven't watched it, but I trust fans of V.C. Andrews to point out what's trash, because they're like, these books ain't great in the first place.
Gotcha. There's also there's a TV. Did you say there's a TV series?
Literally.
That's what you just said.
You were so busy looking up. Did that movie star fucking Johnny Depp that you were blowing me off and not listening?
I did. I apologize.
Oh my God.
I did. I apologize completely. I suck.
You completely suck.
I do.
Are you on IMDb looking up?
No, I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done.
It wasn't Johnny Depp, was it?
I don't think so.
No, I called you out before you could get there.
There was some I equated to there is a Johnny Depp movie that I'm thinking of where he's in an attic and he's a writer and
that's
and
like
he's like
the Rear Window or Secret Window or
something like that. Secret Window or something something like that. I can't think of it. Oh my God,
like that's not even similar.
That's what I was so I don't think I've seen the movie.
No, you haven't. And that shocked me that you had, so I should have known better.
Yeah, I didn't see the movie.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Wow. You were just trying to... Do you even know what Flowers in the Attic is about?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm... Okay.
Oh,
we got to end on that. We got to end on that. Just...
All right.
Oh, I'm aghast. I'm aghast. I'm wordless. I just can't. Okay.
All right. Before we end it, we have to cover that we're going to be back tomorrow with a bunch of shit. Mm-hmm, so we have our, we're going to have our
Sacrilegious Book Club.
That's going to be there. We also have our
Contradictions.
We're going to have our wrap up for Second Kings. And
our weekly replay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have like 4 fucking episodes coming out tomorrow.
Sorry.
And we haven't done one of them. Oh well, we haven't done one of those 4 yet. So like we still have to do all of them, and it's the night before. So that's the way we do,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on you don't know what Flowers in the Attic is about, and you thought Johnny Depp was in that movie.
Well, I was wrong.
Oh, I'm just... Okay, I can't wait for the words we're going to have after this closes out.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, bye.
Bye. Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe, leave an Apple review, join us on Twitter, support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey, Force Center friends, I'm Ken Knapsack.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw, and this is Force Center, a Star Wars podcast that celebrates the galaxy far, far away with a mix of deep dive analysis and comedy fun. We cover all the films, the TV shows, books, toys, and the big themes, everything from the profound lessons of hope versus fear to the absurd fun of Boba Fett's knee darts.
Myself, Joseph, and our third partner, Jennifer Landa, rely on our years of experience as writers, performers, and broadcasters to create a critical but positive Star Wars space that's like hanging out in the cantina, but with absolutely no limbs getting cut off.
It is a podcast Obi-Wan Kenobi would feel okay letting Anakin listen to without going to the dark side.
So, join us on the light side, friends. This is Force Center.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.